Okay, so here's my van. The molding's coming off. If I'm looking out the sunroof while I'm driving down the highway, I actually see it whipping in the air, looking like another antenna. It's gotten worse. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking an eraser wheel. You can buy these at auto parts stores. I know I got mine at Napa. It just chucks into a drill and it spins. You can burn through the paint using one of these, so be careful. But it generally strips off adhesive really, really well. It When I used to work on cars, this saved me a ton of time. But what you need to do is we need to clean up the surface. We need to get all the adhesive off of here, get all the adhesive off of the rubber itself, and then use some thinner to clean it up. Okay, the board really is, I just used it as weight to hold the stripping back while I was cleaning up the area. But since I do have it up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hold the molding down on the board while using my Drills eraser to remove the adhesive. Normally I would remove it completely off, have it on my workbench, clamp it down, tape it down, do whatever I have to. This is not an ideal way of doing it, so be careful. You know, know your tools, but just always be careful. You'll notice I'm wearing safety glasses in here. I have gloves on. Maybe the gloves aren't as necessary, but as I get older, I get sick of having the cracked fingers and paint all over me and all that stuff. I'm also using a razor blade to kind of clean this up. Okay, so once you feel like you got all the adhesive out of there, take some thinner, clean up the molding also. Double check the track where it's going in, or especially on the top of a vehicle, things are just going to fall back in where you're cleaning. And the little sticker particles from actually cleaning up, they are a bear to pick up, but it is important you get them out of there because the adhesive property is gone and you don't want to put any kind of sticker on top of it. Okay, once you feel that you have it really cleaned up and stuff, you can get your double-sided tape that you're going to use to put this back on. I've been using 3M for years. It's never let me down. The auto industry in general uses this, but this stuff is strong. Here you can see a picture of it. It just comes in a roll, and you cut off how much you want. I generally like to lay it down on the car itself first, and then I'll take my razor blade and then just cut it from there. Be careful when cutting it though. You don't want to cut into whatever's below it. Another way of doing it is score it, hold the blade on top of the tape, and pull the tape against the blade. That way you're just cutting the tape. If you're not a big fan of your vehicle, here's where it starts to become a little bit more enjoyable. Take the molding, put it on top, and just start hitting it. Hitting it actually will help it adhere. It does kind of activate it a little bit. So go ahead and smack it real hard. If this is a very strong structural area, so I'm hitting it harder than maybe I would if it was on the side of a door. And then of course the fun part is getting this tape off of it. This stuff is super sticky, which is good, but it can be a big pain getting this tape off. But once you get it up a little bit with like a needle or edge of a knife or something, I have a dental pick I'm using here, then you can kind of grab it with your fingers and get it started. Once you have it started, just peel it a little bit and then put it down, line it up, and kind of give it a good smack on top so you can start the adhesion process. This is kind of a little tricky area. You want to pull the tape out as you're putting it down. You don't want to just rip it off and then lay it down. It will not line up correctly, lengthwise usually, sometimes even off any other ways with straightness. So basically just hold it down tight, pull a little bit of the tape off, and then just pound it down and keep doing that till you get to the end. Just yank out the end, smack it down, and that should be all there is to it. If everything went well and I cleaned it up properly, I should not have any issues whatsoever with this peeling back up. Of course, time will only tell, but I can tell it'll be better than it was already. Everything lines up pretty good compared to the other side, which I checked too. It is pretty much identical, and you'll see there's no damage to the vehicle. So here, this is after putting on about 600 miles, driving from Green Bay, Wisconsin, down past Milwaukee, and driving around down there, and then coming back up after a weekend, and it held perfectly. Hopefully this will hold, and I can move on to the next issue with the van and get that going also. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.